to chat about routines, particularly amid this coronavirus crisis. Our routines have changed massively, so all of us are in this together. For some of us, you're working probably extra hours, maybe you've taken on new roles, so maybe you're finding your routine is very work heavy, it's quite stressful. For others, you might find that you've really lost a productive role. Perhaps a course is finished abruptly, perhaps college is no longer, maybe volunteering roles have ceased. So that in itself can be super stressful also if we've lost our productive role. Maybe you don't have much to do in your day now. So what I want to do today is chat a little bit about how you're spending your time. So if you have a moment, grab a pen and paper, and I'm going to invite you to map out your week. So similar to what I have here is a wall planner. So I have Monday to Sunday mapped out, and if you'd like, take a moment, pause the video, map out your whole week. Map out typically what time you get up, typically what time you eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, typically what time you might do exercise, maybe what time you might call a friend. What does your week look like? So take a moment to do that. So coming back to your routine, after spending a few moments to think about it, I want you to have a little think about how you are spending your time in the areas of self-care, of leisure, and of productivity. So briefly, I'm going to explain this. So self-care, what I mean by this is how you look after your physical and your mental health. So this can include things like sleep. It can include things like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, journaling. So you'll notice some of the things I mentioned there are self-care activities that we do for our mind. Most of us are quite aware of the self-care activities we do for our physical body, such as brushing our teeth, etc. So have a think about particularly the mental health self-care activities. Do you allocate time in your week, or do you spend time doing these activities? So maybe stop the video, maybe pause, maybe have a look at your schedule. And then I'd like you to think about leisure. So usually here I'm referring to meaningful leisure activities. So is there time allocated in your week for doing something that makes you feel really, really good? It makes you, it brings you into the moment. So for some people, this might be playing the guitar, it might be playing a computer game, listening to your favorite song, perhaps walking, perhaps doing yoga. So leisure, meaningful leisure, is when we're very much so in a state of flow. We're very much so enjoying our activity. So have a look at your routine, maybe pause the video again and think about, is there any time in your week at the moment where you perhaps connect with someone engaging in a social leisure activity and perhaps do something that makes you feel really good, helps you switch off. And then finally, productivity. So look at your typical week. And like I said at the start of the video, thinking about how you're spending your time in your productive role. So for those of you who are working still, have a think about when you're working, how are you during this time? Is this time very, very stressful? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling like you can't concentrate in this time? And then for other people who maybe you found you've lost productive roles, how are you replacing that role? What are you doing with that time? Is there anything that you can do with that time to feel a little bit more productive, such as maybe listening to TED Talks, maybe listening to a podcast in an area of particular interest of yours, perhaps updating your CV, things like that. So have a think, maybe pausing the video again, as to how your routine looks like in your productive area. So then I'm going to invite you to pick an area in your routine that you want to make a change in. So be quite specific here, really delve deep into what that might look like. So picking that area, we're going to set maybe a realistic, achievable, and sustainable goal going forward. So an example might be maybe sleep. Maybe you're hoping to sleep a little earlier. Maybe you're hoping to improve your sleep habits. So improving your sleep habits might be your long-term goal. So what I'd like to do today is really, really break that down. So if you were to set your goal or place your goal on the top of a ladder, I want you to take a moment here even to draw a ladder on the back of your timetable and take a moment to place an X on your ladder where you think you are. So maybe you're one step away from reaching your goal. Maybe you're at the bottom of your ladder. So maybe you have a lot of steps to get there. And perhaps even in between the steps, we've got micro steps. So there sometimes are lots of micro steps we need to take. That can sometimes take a little bit of patience to practice to get ourselves to our long-term goal. So looking at your goal, I'm going to ask you and invite you now to break it down and maybe write it out. So an example of a sleep goal might be that I'm going to practice going to bed 5 minutes earlier this week. Maybe to help me get to my goal, I might set reminders. I might have a prompt such as this timetable by sticking it on my wall. I might ask my housemate or a partner to remind me of my goal. Use your phone, so use reminders on your phone. Maybe have someone WhatsApp you in the evening to help you out with your goal. So thinking about your goal, I guess another really important thing here is when we're making changes to routine, and particularly at the moment amid, I guess, the stress and the challenges that we are facing at the moment, is to be compassionate with yourself, so to be patient with yourself. So it's not easy at the moment. We're being thrown into a whole new routine, in isolation, in fact. So be patient. Practice compassion and kindness within this change that you're making. And reminding yourself, I guess, that it's very much so one step at a time. You can get there and you will get there. So for those of you who might be struggling to maybe set a goal, and maybe figure out what that goal can even be for you right now, feel free to reach out. Maybe reach out to, you can use some of my online resources, maybe have a look at some of my yoga practices on my website, or feel free to reach out and maybe I can help you out with that as well. So thanks so much for listening.